Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey Street Fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's coverage of the BTDY Racing Series presented by Martin Sports, and we are at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to say once again, it is BTDY night in America, and as well as sponsors being presented, KHIO as well. And man, oh man, is it good to be back for the season kickoff of Race 1 after the Clash 2 weeks ago. Well, we are back here, and it's good to have you here and good to join us as well. And everybody, I'm Alec Martinez, the host, and as well are my producer and co-commentator, Logan. Logan, it's good to have you. BTDY starting back up again. It's the beginning of the season, man. How we feeling?
I'm feeling great, Alec. It's going to be a really good one here tonight. And of course, we've got to kick it off first things first with our first BTDY No Bull Challenge race. That's first of 4 in the regular series, or regular season, and then we'll have 4 more in the playoff chase. So always nice to start one off here at Daytona. I'm so excited for it.
Yes, sir. It's good to see you, and we'll take a look at our track map here today and our info as we go to the Daytona International Speedway. 2.5 mile length, 18 degrees of banking on the triover on the front stretch, but the turns 31 degrees of banking. And as we know, it's going to be a super speedway style of race with the NASCAR Xfinity Series car. So there won't be any tire saving or lifting. Maybe a little bit of handling will come into an issue with the sun beating down on this racetrack. Other than that, opened up in February of 22nd in 1959. That original race won by Lee Petty. So then, oh man, it's good to be back. And no, we got the sunset in the background of when this track was taken. But this race going to be wide open here. You're not going to be lifting. And as well, I think we got to think about as we take a look at our Google Earth map here. And Logan, well, appreciate you doing this as we go to the state of Florida, just outside located in Daytona. As you can see, there is 31 degrees bang, and there's our race analysis. 100 laps here is pit road speed. It will probably be used once or twice, whether it's green flag pit stops, which will be a topic of today, and 55 miles an hour. 3 tire sets available, even though tires really not going to be a huge factor, but these might be a factor. 3 green white checkers, 80% fuel load, and iRacing fixed setup. And the Noble Challenge, like you noted as well, Logan, is going to be a key factor here for tonight's race as the grid will get going as qualifying just concludes here from the Daytona International Speedway as the first 2-time champion, Seth Hatchell, is going to be rolling off on the pole here tonight for the race. And man, oh man, good way to start off the season. Leading the field to green as Seth Hatchell will be on the pole with a time of 50.754, and to his outside, the Italian Stallion back in the 33 car. He'll be rolling off second. Jeff Wright, the defending 2-time champion, will be rolling off in third. Dennis Faircloth will be rolling off in fourth. Ryan Gemmel will roll off in fifth, and sixth will be Chris Samard. Justin Carey will roll off in seventh, with Keith Mayato rolling off to his outside in starting eighth. And then starting in row 5, Nick Starling in the 18 car rolls off 9th, with Brody Hayes in the 37 Chevrolet Camaro rolling off in 10th.
The second half of this field, we've got the 23 of Ray Massey starting out here in 11th, next to Michael Jones in the 2 to his outside. Cody Atkins will take the inside line in that 55 machine tonight, with the last race winner 2 weeks ago, Max Cost at Talladega, the Clash winner, starting here in 14th. Next row back, Alan Dice in the 5 machine next to Jake Mackey in the 99. Dallas Sullivan will roll off here in 17th next to Aaron Lee in the 32 machine. Noah Mahalski and Kevin Frey will take the last row of the top 20.
And then 21st will be Jeremiah Vincent in the famed number 3 car. And to his outside, Zach Smith in the 91. And rounding out the 23 car field here tonight is Todd Giles Jr. in the number 14 Chevrolet Camaro. And boy, oh boy, good to be back, Logan, as it is BTDY night in America. Seth Hatchell will roll off on the pole, or roll off on the front row with next to AJ Stravato, and we'll go down to the racetrack. And how about, before we get going, let's dial up our defending champion, Jeff Wright, and see what he's thinking before tonight's race.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Jeff Wright, Alec Martinez, and Logan Thurkel in the booth. Buddy, you got a copy?
I got a big copy, drivers. I'm ready to go.
Well, buddy, it's good to see you here, and again, congratulations on your defending championship. But we're rolling off. A new season is back under us here, and it's about to begin. How are you feeling for this race, and maybe an outlook on this season?
Well, I'm looking forward to this. This is obviously the biggest race of the year at Daytona. Everybody wants to win here. Haven't been able to win too many races at Daytona. Not only in league races, but also just iRacing official. So anytime we have an opportunity to come to this awesome racetrack, it'd be great to get a win, but we got a lot of really good plate guys out here. Got a good teammate to work with tonight here in AJ Stravato, just starting 1 spot ahead of us. So I feel like if we can stick together and execute our pit stops, I think one of us is going to have a pretty good shot at this thing. If we're lucky enough to stay out of the carnage here, Daytona can be a mess at times. So we're just going to try to have to survive and try to be there at the end.
For sure. Well, we appreciate your time, Jeff. I'm going to ask you one more time. You think handling is going to come into play here at the end of these races?
I think so. Looking at the weather, it's 100% humidity out here. Sun shining, so this track is going to be slick. And we get late into these fuel runs. I feel like getting on and off pit lane is going to be treacherous. So I think it will. And the pushes in the Xfinity car, they're weird now. I don't know what kind of update there was, but these cars drive way different than they used to at super speedway. So that's going to be a challenge here for everybody as well.
All right, well, we appreciate your time, Jeff. Wish you the best of luck, and, well, we're about to go green, so good luck out there.
All right, thanks, guys. Have fun up there.
All right. And as we go green, the pace car will pull off into pit lane. It is 250 miles, which will equal up to 100 laps. Logan, who's your pick to win this race?
At super speedways, good buddy of mine, Michael Jones in that 2 machine. He's about halfway through the pack. He's really good at super speedways, though, so I'm going to go with him.
Pace car has pulled off. Green flag is out at the World Center of Racing, the BTDY Racing Series, is underway as Alan Dice rolling out of pit road. I'm going to have to say, why not go with the Italian Stallion and AJ Stravato as, well, they're going to lose one car already out of the pack. That's Alan Dice, who had to start on the back. He's going to be that, he was the yellow car that the pack passed by in the beginning. But what a start here as this season begins. Seth Hatchell leads out here off the turn 2. Jeff Wright pushing him. The outside lane starting to get a little more momentum down the backstretch.
Yeah, that inside line working early, but it's only a matter of time before that outside line catches some traction, gets some cars stacked up, and they'll start making that move up towards the front very quickly.
Yes, they will, is off of turn number 4 for the first time tonight here at the World Center of Racing. It's Hatchell on the bottom, leading that inside lane, and the outside, it's AJ Stravato, help from Dennis Faircloth. Seth Hatchell leads the first official green flag lap of the season from pole position, and now it's about 2 rows deep, it's side by side for about 10 rows deep. The last car in the pack looks to be Todd Giles, that bright green Mountain Dew Chevrolet Camaro way in the back, but he is the 21st car on the racetrack, but the last car in the pack. So a 21 car pack of the 22 cars in the field tonight, and makes you wonder, will obviously pit strategy going to be a big factor tonight, going to be a big key topic as this race continues. As Stravato coming back around on the outside, help from Dennis Faircloth in the 80. Can Stravato come off a 4 and lead this lap?
He does have the momentum up there. He's already to the back bumper of the 8 machine, so he should be able to have carry, just not enough as Satchel edges one out once more.
And almost got there, but now he's pulled even with Seth Hatchell, as now we have a dead heat side by side about 10 rows deep. Now, another thing we'll have to talk about as this race goes on, with handling coming into factor, will we see maybe 3 lanes of racing, as although somebody trying to poke out a line? Looks like Brody Hayes to be in the 37 car, that gray and pink and black 37, the Chevrolet Camaro. You'll see that car. It's got a bright V-Speed, I guess pink reddish number on that roof. So we'll see Brody Hayes. I'm sure he'll be a factor later in this race. But look like peeking to the outside, maybe trying to see if anybody will go with them. As here comes Stravato rallying back on the outside, help from Faircloth at the start-finish line. Give a dead heat almost, but give the nod to AJ Stravato to lead his first lap of the evening. And I think another key topic as well, temperatures. If you're that second car in line pushing the leader, you can't stay behind them too much. You give them the grill tape and all that, and then there's no air coming to the engine, and it doesn't cool it down. The engine temp will rise, the oil temps will rise, the water temps will rise, and we see Faircloth poke down to the bottom 4th car in line, that Sim Magic Toyota Supra, the orange and white Toyota Supra. And Stravato falls back about 2 or 3 positions and now has Chris Samard, the orange, black, and purple Chevrolet Camaro, that 77 car. He'll now tuck up behind AJ Stravato. Stravato can't really miss that car, purple, pink, and white 33 car. You won't miss that one around much either, as lap number 5 goes up onto the board. Seth Hatchell leading 4 of them. Behind him is Jeff Wright. And right now, no point in pushing the issue. It's a 100-lap race, 250 miles. There's a lot of racing still left to go. And statistically, this race, the last 2 races have went caution-free. So it almost feels like you're going to have to get green flag pit stops in at some point.
Yeah, I would say that you most likely have to, especially early on in the race. You know, with that 80% fuel load, obviously trying to make this a roughly a 2-stop race would be ideal, maybe 3, depending on where you're at in the field. If you're doing a lot of breaking that front, wind shear off of everything, as we see Hatchell doing, and Stravato.
Oh,
big wiggle there for Stravato. Maybe a little bit of a uneasy push from the 77 of Samard there, but falls back in line. But yeah, once you start leading the pack, you're using up a lot more fuel than everybody else behind you. So it might be strategy to fall in and out of line.
Well, Seth Hatchell, if you look at him, he's flat out. I don't know if we have the telemetry for it. It is flat out. But if you're the leader, you're normally not lifting. If you're back of this pack, you're Aaron Lee or you're Max Cost, Dallas Sullivan, Zach Smith, you can go about half throttle and just kind of ride around for a couple laps. And, we've seen it before, and especially current day NASCAR in the Cup Series with the next gens. You'll see guys, they go 3 wide to go and save fuel, run half throttle. So the draft obviously not as big in these cars as it is in the next gen, but we do see fuel saving no matter what series. But what you won't see, I would have to think, is single file around the outside lane like we do see sometimes when it comes to fuel saving. these guys tend to run double file most of the time, and I'm sure this pack will probably be spread out. Nature of the beast, as pit stops will come up, and I think right now Alan Dice is hoping for something. Oh, Stravato had a little bit of an issue there connection wise, but Dice is hoping for some quick caution to come out because he is the only car not in this lead pack. He is running about 3 seconds off of the leader's pace, and he is 27 seconds behind the pack. Well, the pack will be running him down within the next 10 or so laps and putting him a lap down.
Yeah, not a great place to start the race out from the pits. Not sure if he might have picked up some sort of a caution from the clash, if that even carries over, or if he just ended up missing the gridding time frame. But Alan Dice in a predicament to start this race, so to say.
Yeah, and well, as this field continues to run side by side, now 4 rows deep, Stravato on the outside, help from Chris Martin inside, led by Seth Hatchell and Jeff Wright, two-time champions, so 4 championships combined on the inside lane, and Stravato with 1 championship to his name on the outside lane, 5 championships in the top 3 of the last couple of seasons. And then we got to watch it. We're talking about championship predictions. Don't count out AJ Stravato. We know Jeff Wright and Seth Hatchell, obviously championship contenders, and no Bailey Turner here tonight, but I'm sure we'll see him around and see if he runs full time, and he might be another one to look out for championship wise. But so far, you never know who could step up, and want to also highlight maybe some of the rookies in this season. Michael Jones, we've seen him once or twice before, so not fully a rookie, but how about Aaron Lee? That's the name we haven't seen in BTDY, and that 32 Thrustmaster car. That's a rookie this season. Todd Giles, a rookie this season, got partial season in last year, but I think he's going to try to go full-time this year. He's in that 14 car, that with the red numbers, the Mountain Dew car. He's a rookie this season. And then Kevin Frey, we haven't seen him around a lot, but that 82 Slayer machine, well, he is a rookie as well. So 3 rookies in the field right now. There was a couple other rookies that we're probably not seeing tonight, but we will see throughout the season. Jace Coley, we saw him at the Clash, the KHIO Clash, and he was running up front a little bit, and we saw his name, so I'm sure we could throw his name maybe into some great battles later in the season that we'll see. We saw, it wasn't a rookie, but we saw Brett Baldeck in the field, and he isn't a rookie, but we've seen him before. So a lot of part-time guys, and then, like I said, new faces, and a lot of guys from the same familiar faces in the same places, as you have Noah Mikulski returning, the champions of Seth Hatchell, AJ Stravato, Jeff Wright, Keith Mayato. Also good to see him back. We kind of missed him at the end of the year last year, but it's good to see him back, and he's running so far in the 7th position, third car up on the outside lane. So Ray Massey, another returning one. Justin Carey, a lot of good returning guys, and how about Nick Starling as well in that 18 car? Good to see him back.
Absolutely, and also, not to mention Ryan Gimmel in that 6 machine. Been a while since we've seen him here in the BTDY series, so glad to have him back. And again, just a big shout out to all the new drivers here starting out this season. It's going to be a good year here.
Ooh, how about that? Jeff Wright jumps up in front of AJ Stravato, teammate AJ Stravato, I should throw out, and now the Pepsi 48 machine takes the lead off in the middle of 3 and 4, but will he decide to block that run on the outside? Stravato coming with momentum as lap 12, going to go up onto the board, but Jeff Wright will now lead his first lap of the night, and the 48 car leads where it started, where it ended last season, at the front of the field so far, but still a long way to go, a 10th of the way through here, as it's Wright, Hatchell, Stravato, Gimmel, and Chris Samard, the top 5. And how about Ryan Gimmel, another one, as the offseason was going, and got to even race a little bit, and he's been racing, I should say, with Joe Nemechek, racing for Nemco Racing out in a stock car division. Won Sebring, won Daytona a couple weeks ago at this very racetrack on the road course. And we even got to see him make an ARCA start at Watkins Glen and finished 8th in his ARCA debut. So good to see Ryan Gimmel back as well, and happy to see the success he's had in the real-life racing world as well. And man, he's got a great relationship with Joe Nemechek and Nemco Racing, and he's been a heck of a race car driver and coming close to winning these championships on that side of the racing spectrum.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, with that debut with the ARCA series at Watkins Glen, Of course, our main man here at V-Speed, Adam Baker, he got the pleasure to kind of team up with Ryan and be a spotter for him right there in the bus stop. So that was a pretty cool moment for the entire V-Speed team to be able to witness all that coming together after, the years of just progress between everything.
It sure was. We saw Travato try to take the lead, but now here comes Chris Samard on the outside lane. He'll lead his first lap of the night. Help from the V-Speed teammates on the outside with Keith Mayato and Brody Hayes. Those three teammates would be the 77, 36, and 37. Michael Jones in that white and red Verizon Ford Mustang, that black number 2 Penske throwback, as Penske been very successful lately in the racing world. But the 2 car coming up on the outside, Aaron Lee now, and Dennis Faircloth jumping up high. More momentum coming up to the outside lane, but Samard holds steady, but here comes Travato fighting back on the inside lane. And remember, still 14 laps into this race. Maybe a little bit of a preview of what we might see later in this race is the lap car of Alan Dice has officially been ran down by the front pack, and he'll have to tuck in line here. He's got a couple teammates in the back with Sullivan. I think Cody Atkins is also back there as well, or he's more middle of the pack. But I think Alan Dice will try to find a way to fit in here and at least not lose the pack once again, as it's going to be very tight. He's up on the outside wall, maybe even in the outside wall is the 5, and now it's going to cost him more momentum as Giles and Mahalski. Koss going to have to work around the 5 car, and now he'll tuck back in line, and he'll go behind, or will tuck in behind Max Koss, and Dallas Sullivan will pick his teammate up, but Dice now going to be in a position of hoping for caution as this race continues to go on caution-free. 15 of the 100 laps complete as we're on board with the V-Speed Chevrolet of Brody Hayes behind teammate Keith Mayato, and next to teammate Seth Hatchell, front with him as well. It's Seth Hatchell, V-Speed Racing teammate, as in the Bush League bound logo on the bottom, as Samar getting pushed ahead of AJ Stravato, and Stravato is going to lose that lead once again, and maybe the 2 V-Speed cars will jump to the bottom. They won't. Is still on board with 37. You can see that Ford Mustang of Michael Jones behind. Not going to push him 4th car in line, and maybe to catch up to this 37. We'll see him give him a little bit of a tap, but this air bubble pushes him away and up to his 2 teammates. And everybody still so far, not a lot of movement around in terms of making moves for the lead, but I think we're starting to see the handling of these cars start to come into play here. We're starting to see these guys slip and slide a little bit more in the middle and off of these corners.
Yeah, it's already kind of showing some tire wear. Only 16 going on 17 laps in. So it's, I don't know. They must have done some sort of an update here recently.
I heard they did, and I think we're starting to see that happen. Or I think we're starting to see that, especially at Atlanta. Obviously, Atlanta, I think, will be later in the schedule this year. But we were seeing a little bit of handling always coming into play at Atlanta Motor Speedway. But now I think we're seeing even Daytona, not as much Talladega, but for sure Daytona, we're starting to see these guys slip and slide around more, which is good to see. I feel like it, we always talk about super speedway racing. It doesn't take the most talent, but, it's always good to have handling come in. The old NASCAR, bumpy Daytona, man, oh man, where speed and handling mattered, and that was really good. Peak plate racing, as some would go out to say, and it's good to see handling come into play here as the track ages and the Florida sun beating down on this racetrack. And given the sim time that we have, I don't think we're going to probably see any time, or I don't think we're going to see the sun set. Maybe we'll see the sun set, but I don't think we're going to be going into the nighttime.
Yeah, I doubt that we do, not with the sim time set for this session, but in other news, that top line has just completely fallen apart.
Fizzled out quick, and Hayes trying to find a way to the bottom, and we'll see if he can. But now that outside lane is led by Faircloth as the front 6. Now 7 cars have jumped to the inside lane, and Faircloth really no help until Aaron Lee in the 32 car gets to him, and that has fallen back to about 9th place on the racetrack. Here comes Michael Jones up to the outside lane, and the 2 car kind of all by himself, not going to have any help, and he'll probably fall back to the 80, and now no help. And we'll get a perfect example to see what happens when there is no help. to anybody behind you. As, look at this, battling for the leader, maybe shuffled out. Chris Samard gets shuffled out by his teammate Keith Mayato, and Mayato will take the lead into turn 3. Seems like maybe a little team game is going on here because the 8 kind of leaving a big hole in the bottom for the 77 to go out, but I think Jeff Wright caught up to that and try to get and hold him up, but he won't be able to do much, as now Jones comes up with a run, help from Dennis Faircloth, and Aaron Lee behind his Dallas Sullivan wiggles down to the apron in the trial, but Jones now with a big push from Dennis Faircloth trying to rocket to the lead as Mayato leads his first lap of the evening, but Jones on the outside looking to take that lead back.
Yeah, Jones, that move that he made last lap around, did not think that was a good one by any means, but it's paying off very well here as we see that high line just moving now as we've got 2, almost 3 cars clear of the low line.
Yeah, it is, and Michael Jones goes to the inside with Dennis Faircloth, and the field shuffles once again. Faircloth getting a little loosey-goosey on the bottom, but here comes Aaron Lee on the outside, the rookie, with help from Noah Mahalski. And one of those drivers, Mahalski, one of the drivers we highlighted in the clash of possibility to compete for a championship if things go right for him. And he's going to work himself up to the front in Mahalski, another one looking for that first win of his BTDY career. And I got to think it's going to happen at some time this season.
Yeah, Alec, kind of crazy to say, but we're about to have 2 league rookies leading this entire pack of 22 cars.
Yes, we are, and how about this? Lee with pushing help from Noah Mahalski to the outside. He'll get side by side with Dennis Faircloth in the second row back. Michael Jones, that leader on the inside, that white and black, or white and red, number 2, and we'll see if Lee gets a good enough push down the front stretch to lead this lap. I don't think he will. Jones will get another lap next to his name, but Lee with help from Noah Mahalski on the outside, and Lee now going to get up to the right rear quarter panel of Michael Jones, and now we'll be deadlocked side by side, about 7 or so rows deep, as the 32 now gets beside Michael Jones for the lead. And how about the 91 Zach Smith as well? Haven't talked about him much. He's coming up inside the top 10 as Lee pulls even now with Jones. Cost pushing Mahalski, 2 teammates, the 03 and 63. Those guys work together, and they work together well with getting a 1-2 finish for their team in the KHIO clash, where Max Cost was the winner. And don't count out Max Cost later in this race as somebody who's looking to get his first official win, although he does have 2 wins to his name, as Aaron Lee is going to lead his first career BTDY lap. And lap 23 as 23 goes onto the board, and now officially a 5th of the way through the race as Lee now takes the lead, but will Mahalski try to take it back as Giles almost gets up into the outside wall and moves back. Got to think we're about 10 or so laps from pit stops here pretty soon.
It's got to be coming up at any given moment here, but you know, it's this is just already wild. Good green flag race so far. That inside line losing some momentum here, but we're going to see Max Koss and Noah Mahalski both go to the inside line.
And here comes the teammates. Mahalski and Koss going to go to the bottom. A little shuffle up on the outside lane with Smith and Starling. They get it back riding together. Lee now loses the lead. Mahalski leads for his first lap of the season with the teammate Koss behind him. And more shuffling in this pack as the race continues to go on as Lee on the outside with help from that black and gold 91, as the 91 seems to get very loose behind the 32, and that all black car we see on the outside lane behind the 91 is Nick Starling in the 18, and he has jumped up as now Michael Jones jumps up to the outside in front of Aaron Lee, and the 2 rookies will try to work together to get back to where they were just a couple laps ago.
I could very well see kind of a team bonding effort here for those rookies. We might see something develop if this race goes well for those 2.
We'll see. They seem to be, it takes 2 to tango, as they say. And right now we're seeing guys trying to get a feel for what pace they like better to dance with. And right now we're seeing that outside lane come back with the 2 rookies and Zach Smith on the outside. Only 3 cars really bunched up together to make that work. Starling and Giles kind of sitting behind them, I would say 2 or 3 car lengths behind them, but they'll get a nice suck up with the draft behind them. And now that top lane will once again surge with momentum to the outside. Lee pushing Jones past Mahalski and Kost on the bottom. Smith behind them on the outside with Faircloth tucked in line on the inside behind Koss and Mayato Stravato always seem to be together. No matter how many races I've ever called at BTDY, Keith Mayato and AJ Stravato never seem to amaze when they are stuck together. As Mayato having a little bit of a connection issue, and you'll see that every now and then where a car pops up and then disappears and then comes back. So don't let that throw you off, because you just might see them come back. And if they don't, well, that's probably not a good thing for them. So as we'll see, as the leaders still side by side, Jones on the outside, Mahowski on the inside, and everybody minding their P's and Q's other than the top 6, where these guys kind of moving around. You see bobbing and weaving down the backstretch. Jones now going to pull about a half a car length ahead, now helping, gets a nice shove from Lee into turn number 3, and that just won't clear the 2 going in, and maybe he'll get a run off of turn 4 to finally take that lead and go back to the bottom, but burning precious fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you mentioned just a few laps ago, coming up on this first pit cycle within the next couple laps, it's risky. It's not impossible, but it's definitely risky at a track like this.
It is. There's 27 laps on the board, and a Ford Mustang leading, getting pushed by a Chevy Camaro, getting pushed by a Toyota Supra. So all 3 manufacturers represented on the outside lane. And how about Nick Starling with the run as we're on board with Noah Mahalski, and Starling now going to shot Lee up into the wall, and there they go, wrecking down the backstretch. Stravato gets in it, Championship Wright is in it, and it's a big wreck into turn 1, up into the air, hard contact, and half of the field wrecking into turn 3 early before the pit stops even happen. Dice hood destroyed, and more than half of the field caught up in a wreck already.
Man, that was unexpected.
And on board, we saw it happen on board with Noah Mahalski. It looked like a push from Zach Smith by Nick Starling, and look at all the cars come together, and it's tough for the guys in the grass that come up in a hard hit for Todd Giles. And there might only be 6 or 7 cars left in this race.
I think that you're spot on with that. It's pretty much whoever was at the front was clear of it there, but man, let's take this back one more time. Let this develop a little bit more here.
And I think it starts with Starling on the outside in the 18. You'll see him get a monster run down the outside lane, and he gives a little bit of a shove to the 91, who gets off center with Aaron Lee, and he just kind of turns him up into the outside wall. And then look at all the guys behind them, and it's tough to think about it, but they're all single file. They're all single file, so there's really nowhere to go, because there's no double file racing. And an AJ Stravato has heavy damage. I think Jeff Wright, might be done. He has not got no hood on his 48 machine, and we're on board with AJ Stravato, and I believe he's just going to catch a car right in his lap, and I think it's the 91 of Zach Smith. And on board, we'll see Starling get a run in. We'll see the 91 kind of get off center to the 32. He gets into the right rear of Lee, turns him into the back, and then here comes Smith right in front of Stravato, and then gets nailed by teammate Jeff Wright. And then I think we got to look at Keith Mayato coming up on the him and Dennis Faircloth went through the grass, but they came up the racetrack in front of the rest of the field.
Let's take a look and see what happened with Keith Mayato here then.
And we'll see here, this is going to be a perfect angle here. We'll see the black 91 cars, we're on board with Keith Mayato, go high, and the 32 is just not clear, and it seems like they're just fighting for space that's not there, and they're trying to slow down here, and they're just sliding in the grass. They come right up into Chris Samard, into Todd Giles, into Max Koss. Seth Hatchell gets in it. Cody Atkins is in it. Alan Dice is in it. And again, there's only 6 or 7 cars realistically that may have missed that wreck. And there's one guy that I think needs a shout out and all that, and that is going to be Alan Dice, or excuse me, not Alan Dice, Dallas Sullivan. He did a phenomenal job missing that wreck as we're on board with, that was Michael Jones. You can see this 32 gets turned, and look at the carnage behind him. You see the field kind of spread out there. And, well, he got lucky, he kind of blinked out there. But you see the field spread out, and then all those guys that kind of get sent down to the inside wall, or the inside infield, they just come straight back up the racetrack. And, wow, just unfortunate to see in the season opener have half the field get taken out. And, I mean, from 10th on back is still in the pits. And I mean, this the whole field, in basically the entire field involved. And again, shout out to Alan Dice, or excuse me, to Talis Sullivan for missing that wreck, because he looked like he was going to get in it. He was kind of in the danger zone in both sides, and he just misses it and gets no damage, and now sits in 6th position.
Got a lot of cars on pit road right now. Man, oh man.
I mean, look at all the cars coming off of pit road. It looks like it looks like it's the race for the lead off of pit road, and it's not.
That is an unfortunate start to the season for a lot of these drivers, but man, that is Daytona after all. You just expect stuff like that to happen at the end of the race, not right here in the first, well, just over a quarter of the race.
And half of this field is going to go a lap down or more. And I'm seeing, Dice a lap down still, Samard a lap down, Keith Mayato, Ray Massey, Aaron Lee, Zach Smith, Todd Giles, they are sitting in pit road, and I don't see them really continuing. And now with the field so cut down, it was already kind of a small field than we're used to seeing with 22 cars, but now with half of this field wrecked, I mean, what do we have?
I would say
7 or 8 competitive cars.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you're looking at them right here with this shot. We've got 3 rows
smart,
and half a row.
You just work together here, and I think they're going to pull away. I mean, Jeff Wright has heavy damage, Nick Starling heavy damage, Seth Hatchell, Cody Atkins might be all right.
Brody
and
Hayes
Ryan
even
Gemmell
has some damage there on the front end of that 37 machine.
Ryan Gemmell and Cody Atkins might. Although, does Hayes have any damage?
Hayes does have some damage right in the middle of that front bumper. I saw it on that last shot as they were coming down the back stretch. It might have been the sun glaring off of it, but it looked like
I'm looking. He might be all right. We'll see, and we'll measure his speed here. But I mean, you got basically Jones, Mahalski, Hayes, Carey, the 82, or is that the 8? Yes, sorry, the 82 of Frey, Sullivan, and Mackey. The only cars really not involved in that incident as they go into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out, and we're back underway with what is about half of the field still left in this race, and we'll see who is the competitive cars and who isn't, as Mahalski gets a great jump. And I gotta think now, unless Brody Hayes or Jeff Wright can pull out, or Seth Hatchell, they can stay in this pack, we're gonna be looking at somebody who hasn't won in a hot minute winning this race.
Yeah, I would almost have to say that we're bound to see a fresh winner to start the season. There's not a whole lot of drivable cars, as we're already seeing those damaged cars getting some distance put between them, but they might be able to stay up with the pack. We'll just have to see how this develops here.
We'll see. Faircloth is out of the draft, and I think Hatchell, Cost, and Dice are slowly but surely losing this pack, as there's not that many cars left in it, as Hatchell now completely left out of the pack, and now what is a competitive pack of 10 or so cars is now kind of wounded some, and some still fresh with how they unloaded out of the shop. And right now, some of those cars with the most amazing one to me is Jeff Wright, who is absolutely destroyed. He lost his hood, and that is another hood had to be put on that race car, and he is still in this pack. But I think now the fuel mileage situation might be a little more interesting, as a big push from Jones. Justin Carey jumping to the bottom, trying to lead his first lap of the season. Carey in that 21 car, black, red, and silver 21 car goes to the inside of Noah Mahalski. We'll see it in the trial. It'll be very close to see who leads the lap. I think Carey does, and he does get the lap led on lap 32. Jones now triangle middle, tucks in behind. And Starling still, even with a little bit of front end damage, is still able to stay in this pack. So it looks like maybe 11 or so.
Oh no!
Jones in the wall! Mahalski in the wall! And a big wreck again in front of him! Starling gets caught up in it, and that looks like a day over for the 18. And Mahalski, smoke billowing out of that car. And another wreck early in this race. And Michael Jones is taken out of it. Mahalski smoking down the backstretch and probably his race over. And what was left of a small field has gotten even smaller. Koss lost his hood down the backstretch. And we'll see what happened.
Halski into the wall, just got
Halski
slowed up.
Into Sullivan, and Dallas Sullivan caught up in that Starling. Cost Wright got a piece of it.
Just a touch, though, for Wright.
And unfortunately for Alan Dice, he's not going to get the lucky dog out of that because he had to go through the infield. And Dallas Sullivan has taken his car to pit road and has retired from the race. And that is unfortunate. And champion Jeff Wright lost that hood, the replacement hood again, and I think his suspension is destroyed. And what was about 10 or so good cars has now become 7 good, or I should even say that has turned into 5 good cars.
Curious to see what this looks like from the inside of Max Koss. We're going to take this back again. See what just happens here with him.
He is way behind this, and I shouldn't say way behind, but he's about he is in a second behind the pack. And we'll see Mahalski kind of go up the racetrack, and that is, mind you, Max Koss, his teammate. He kind of goes up into the outside, gets turned, and then he's trying to slow down, gets onto the banking, locked up into the back. Nick Starling, and those hood pins gone, and that hood just disconnects, gets in front of him, and then falls off of the 63-0 machine. And, well, unfortunate as this race has another turn, and a turn for the worst, unfortunately, is now leaving 3 or so competitive cars, because Gimmel, looking at him, has damage, and Jeff Wright just nailed his pit box wall. So that's going to cost him. And heck, even Dennis Faircloth might be able to get back in this race because he's going to be able to get damage fixed. But now more than half of the field is going to be, I don't know, a lap down or so getting damage fixed. And that's Jeff Wright smoking. I don't know what's going on there. I think that might be race over for him with smoke coming out of that race car.
Yeah, that's, I can't tell. It looks like the tires are spinning, but, you know, let's go on board with him real quick.
I don't know. It's not a good sign for him. Sounds like he's revving it. I think they're maybe trying to have him measure what's going on in that race car, but we'll have to see as this field is dwindled down considerably. And, I mean, there is only 5 cars pacing on the racetrack, or 4 cars pacing on the racetrack currently on the lead lap.
This is,
Chris Samard 4 laps down.
Else.
And what was a streak of 2 consecutive, and I think I mentioned it, maybe we'll go green again. I think, unfortunately, like you said, I gave it the commentator's curse, and 2 cautions within the last 10 laps, and more than half of the field destroyed. Chris Samard 4 laps down is one of the 5 cars still pacing on, or 6 cars pacing on the racetrack as Jake Mackey has caught up. But Cody Atkins maybe gets back into this thing with his damage, and looks like his car kind of fully repaired back to at least somewhat considerably, and even Ryan Gemmel, but I think Max Koss, Seth Hatchell, Jeff Wright, even Dennis Faircloth, his car looks better than what it has, and giving these teams more time to get the cars back into good shape. And I mean, man, this is unfortunate to see, because it was a little bit of a smaller field considering what there has been the past few seasons, and then half of this field, it looks to be wrecked out of the race. So this leaves 5 or 6 competitive cars, and I would have to think if they just get single file, they'll probably pull away from the rest of the field, and they could just stick together. I mean, it'll be between those 6 settling it out.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds here, but, you know, a lot of damaged race cars. Obviously going to try to work their way back on the track, collect some points. You don't want this to be, you know, the worst possible outcome, but unfortunately for some, it is going to be that way. Mm-hmm. But that is, that's not something you're used to seeing here. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's typically, you know, within the last 10 laps that you see all the carnage unfold, but at this point, with so few cars on the racetrack left in good condition,
it's going to be hard to see that there isn't any more carnage. I mean, it's still possible, don't get me wrong. Of course, it's Daytona, but it seems like a lot of these cars might not be able to stick together, and the race is nowhere near the territory of what I'm about to say. It's not near 2020 Clash vibes, but if you remember, for any of the fans watching and any NASCAR fans that remember the 2020 Clash, but there was only 6 cars. There was only 6 cars at the end of the race. So this is tough to see, but actually I should say there was only like 4 or 5 cars, because it seemed like I think Eric Jones won that with the car that, as Mike Joyce said, and I quote, ready for the dumpster, won that race. And there was only 4 cars that actually finished that race, and it was like a 20-something car field. So well, we'll see what happens. As you can see, some of the cars, the stragglers behind, catching back up as Michael Jones, Dallas Sullivan have pushed their machines behind the wall. So Kevin Frey, the rookie, will go to the Geico restart zone, and the green flag is back out with 65 laps to go in this race. And what we'll see will be very interesting when the checkered flag flies, as it's Frey, Carey, Atkins, Hayes, Cost, and Gemmel, 2 V-Speed teammates first the rest of the field. And I think Samard's going to have to find a way to get around Max Cost, who has no hood. And that car is going to be considerably off the pace. As AJ Stravado even back into the mix, as his car looks to be somewhat fixed. And now Frey, with help from Brody Hayes on the inside, going to pull ahead of Carey and Atkins on the outside. And I think these guys will probably get single file very quick, and I think we'll see these guys try to pull away from what is a pack of beaten and battered race cars.
Alec, I would venture to say that beaten and battered is putting it lightly.
Well, they've definitely been through the ringer for sure, and right now they are falling behind, and now the single file pack of 7 cars gets together, and see if maybe Jake Mackey, Alan Dice, and AJ Stravado can run these guys down and make it about a 10-car pack. And Mackey, going to be important for him. Even Dice, who actually did get the lucky dog, they can run them down and at least put themselves in a question of maybe being there at the end of the race, but they are losing time at the moment. Mackey needs to catch up quick, and I think they might have a chance. They're starting to get a decent part of the draft of Chris Samard. And now I think you set this race up. It's a one-stopper from here. I don't see any reason why. We'll probably run a double file anytime soon. And I think we'll see this be a part of this race, unfortunately. And it's not their fault. That's the cars they're dealt, and it's the smart thing to do. But I think we're going to see these guys probably get single file for at least the next 40 or 50 laps of this race, and until pit stops probably happen. I just think that's going to be the thing that happens, because you need to. And there's no point in racing each other when we've already had half of the field wreck out.
Yeah, no reason to take out what's left of the field by any means. Man, this is something else. You don't expect a situation like this to occur.
No, and it happens. It is a part of racing, and right now I know for the viewers it's probably not going to be the most entertaining of shows watching a train kind of go around, but for these drivers it's the smart thing to do. And I think if me and Logan were in these cars, I think we would probably go ahead and do the same, because again, there's no point in wrecking the race cars right now. Basically, you thought you were having to race 21 other guys. Well, now you're only having to race 7 other guys. So it makes it much easier, or I should say 8 other guys if you're, well, I guess 7, because Seth Hatchell and Max Cost are considerably off the pace, as well as Nick Starling. So these 8 cars on the lead lap in this lead pack are probably going to be the 8 cars, hopefully, that we'll see cross the start-finish line at the checkered flag, with one of them ending up the winner. And Brody Hayes, Ryan Gemmel, and I want to say Alan Dice have won a race, but the rest, I think they're looking for a win that they haven't seen. And all of these guys in this pack, no matter who you say, haven't won in the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, it's very hard to say. I mean, Ray obviously sitting in a good spot very early for that spot. Brody Hayes right there behind him. Gemmel, Faircloth, Atkins, Carey, Mackey, Dice. All that leading 8 here that we see on the screen. Hatchell, Cost, Starling, Samard, Stravado, and Wright, all heavily damaged. Man, this is something else. But Alec, what do you say we pull up the schedule here that we have going on for Season 4 and just take a look at that and see what we've got coming up in the next couple weeks.
I think that's a great idea. As the pack goes by Keith Mayato, AJ Stravato bringing it down pit lane. And it looks like Kevin Frey going to get shuffled out of line here in the first movement of the pack that gives the lead to Brody Hayes and teammate Ryan Gemmel. And Frey is going to have to pull in line here very soon. And like I said, we'll pull that up in just a second as there is some action in this pack for the lead with Frey. No drafting help, and that's going to move him probably to the end of this pack. You might have to tuck in behind Carey or Samard, but here comes Keith Mayato to make it somewhat lively and give the 82 a push down the backstretch, and now there's 2 cars on the outside and the rest on the inside. And it's funny, as this race is going on, the guys that were involved in the wreck, they gotten their cars fixed, but they're going to be multiple laps down, but at least they can join the pack and still make it a little more interesting in terms of being pushers. As here comes Alan Dice and Chris Samard, and wow, now we're getting some movement in the front of this pack as Frey has help from the V-Speed cars behind.
I don't. I'm not sure about the strategy on the outside line here.
We'll see, but like you said, how about Faircloth now thinking about going high, but he'll go back low, and there's one more damaged race car that'll be coming around. I think that's
Jeff Wright there.
Jeff Wright in the 42, and this will get more shuffling in the pack. Here comes Faircloth to the outside lane. Mackey's going to get squeezed there in the middle. They get by him with ease, and Faircloth goes to the lead. And here comes Keith Mayato on the outside. Maybe he's going to be the train that leads this pack while the leaders try to save fuel to get to the end.
He slots back into second there for Brody Hayes in the 37 machine.
I think the V3 guys are going to be more than happy to let Faircloth lead this lap. I think if I was Faircloth, I'd get behind Keith Mayato and let him lead because you can save fuel behind him. But now this pack has single filed out once again. Let's pull up that schedule here for what is going to be the rest of this BTDY season.
Yeah, so obviously we've got Daytona here today. Next week, you mentioned Atlanta possibly being later in the schedule. Incorrect. We've got Old Atlanta before the repave next week. Then Sonoma, Pocono, Nashville Superspeedway, Las Vegas, Michigan, Darlington with a throwback night, Martinsville, Mid-Ohio Road Course for another No Bull Challenge race, New Hampshire, and then finishing it out at Charlotte with the last No Bull Challenge race of the regular season.
And that chase is going to be very interesting. Kansas Speedway, Iowa Speedway, Chicagoland Speedway, then Watkins Glen International, Dover Motor Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway, Bristol Motor Speedway, and the championship at the Auto Club Speedway. That's going to be really interesting to see, and I think all those end in Speedway, if I had to guess, other than Watkins Glen. And that's good to see, and it's good to see a good variety of races at different racetracks, different disciplines, and that's going to be fun. But we know, other than Daytona and Atlanta, it's going to be more in the driver's hands the rest of the season and throughout the season until we get to Atlanta, or the new Atlanta, I should say. But Old Atlanta next week, that's going to be a very, very fun race to watch and watch these guys slip and slide around. Sonoma, we know Jeff Wright is going to be good there and maybe win by a mile, but I think AJ Stravato can't count him out as well. How about Jake Mackey to the outside in that 99 car, single car to the outside, and I think he is going to unfortunately not stall out here next to Alan Dice, where everybody's just kind of riding in line. And I think the experience of Brody Hayes and Ryan Gemmel, Cody Atkins is paying off, and I think the rookie Kevin Frey is doing a really, really good job of kind of just staying behind them, saving some fuel. As now here comes the V-Speed cars, the lap V-Speed cars of Chris Samard and
Keith Mayato on that
Keith
one.
Mayato, sticky there, and Alan Dice as well. So they're all lap cars, and I think they're going to let them go and lead and save some fuel. And now Mackey's really going to get shuffled out of line. How about Jeremiah Vincent back on the racetrack? He is one of few clean cars, but he just started the race about 10 laps ago. They finally must have had some mechanical issues, and he's back on the racetrack with Ray Massey, and they are going to be closing up, getting lapped probably by this field. But I think Jeremiah somehow managing to get that car back out on the racetrack. Well, if he keeps continuing, at some point he's probably going to get 5 or 6 spots in this race, and it's going to be like he got a top 15, I think, if he keeps going.
Yeah, if we don't see any of those wreck cars come back out, we've got Stravato is the highest positioned driver that is out of this race right now, sitting in 15th. So, and that was 38 laps for him. We've already
so I think
gotten
it's
10 for
17.
Jeremiah Vincent, so he should
And that's-
easily take that 15 spot away.
That's barring any other incident that could possibly happen in this race within the next 20 or so laps for Jeremiah Vincent to get some spots, some shuffling around in the pack. Is all by himself is Brody Hayes, Jake Mackey now to the outside with help from Ryan Gimmel, who gets shuffled out back into the inside behind Alan Dice. And now here comes Justin Carey to the outside, going to push the rookie of Jake Mackey to the lead maybe. And here he comes down the backstretch with help from Justin Carey. And oh man, is this looking good for the rookie? And man, what a bunch of leaders, a bunch of lead changes that we're going to see here tonight from different guys leading as Mackey comes to the outside, but no help for him, and he might not lead this lap as Hayes is going to lead another lap on this race, and he just continues to maybe click off some laps here. We're closing up soon to halfway.
I think a lot of those drivers that are trying to slide up behind that 99 and make that outside line work. 99 of Mackey having a little bit of internet issues and blinking every so often. That just that can really put some nerves on the driver behind, not knowing how often that's going to be, when they're going to come back out, if you're going to be in the back bumper of them. But you know, not a lot of teamwork going to be happening if those internet connection issues are going to stick around for a while.
And I think if you're the leaders, well, I think actually I should say if you're anybody but Ryan Gimmel and Brody Hayes, at some point you're probably going to have to split up the V-Speed cars. Even the leaders who are leading this pack, they're not on the lead lap, but you still have 4 V-Speed cars, and then 6 are actually 5 non-V-Speed cars. So they might have to work together to split this up. But if I had to, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the BTDY season opener of 250 laps, the BTDY Daytona 250. And it looks like pit stops might just going to begin once again. And sorry for a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're back at it. You haven't missed really much until just now, but we're here to broadcast it with you live as pit stops about to happen. The V-Speed car is possibly bringing it in. Jake Mackey was able to take the lead and lead his first career laps of his BTDY career. And here they come. Here comes Samar, and here comes Hatchell. But now Mackey going to go around the outside of Mayato and going to go around Brody Hayes. And it looks like he is going to get clear of the 36, but now these guys are going to be just on the cusp of making it to their fuel window and making it to the end of this race. And Mackey now takes the lead. Logan, it's going to be interesting now because I think they're going to be able to make it to the end of this race.
I think they very well can, especially if they take care of that fuel. You know, obviously you want to adjust that for, you know, the potential of green-white checkers. But with this small of a field here, still running with just 8 cars on the lead lap, it's very unlikely that we see any of those get used tonight, which I don't think most of these drivers would be too mad about by any means.
We'll see as they've still single file here as lap 69 goes on board. Nice. Well, here we go. I don't know if we're going to see these guys pit here. I've got to think very soon. Now I think you're at the point where you can maybe mess with how much fuel you take But the top two guys that pitted, Samard and Hatchell, they're still side by side, and I think they're going to maybe shuffle themselves out of this lead pack that is still single file and that has been single file for the last 20 or so laps. And really, we haven't really seen a lot of movement, and we will probably by the end of this race. But Mackey, though, he's doing a good job leading, but he's burning precious fuel, if you so will.
Yeah, Mackey been in front for quite a while now. One thing to note, up 15 positions from that starting spot. The 99 started back there in 16th. He's led the last, or at least been towards the lead for the last 15 or so.
Yes, he has, and he's doing a phenomenal job as Mackey continues to lead in front of the lap car of Keith Maiato, excuse me on that one, apologies, Dan, as he is still in 13th, but 11 laps down. Brody Hayes is way off of Keith Maiato, about 5 or so, or I wouldn't say 5, but about 3 or 4 car lengths for sure. And now I think we'll be coming to 30 laps to go. We'll probably see our first set of pit stops, and here we go. Sounds like Brody Hayes may be coming in. Ryan Gimmel maybe going to stay on another lap. We'll see. And here comes the field. Mackey, the leader, brings the lead pack into pit road with 2 of them staying out. Gimmel, Carey, and Hayes stay out, and now they'll have to push. But the rest of the field comes in. Dice, Frey, Atkins, Mackey, Faircloth, and Atkins all in. I think Frey might have missed his pit box. He did, and so did Jake Mackey.
Easy to do with that 55-mile-an-hour pit speed limit. It's not the easiest to slow one of these heavy Xfinity cars down and get
Cody
to that.
Atkins missed his. And all of these guys have missed their pit boxes by a mile. And the only car to not miss the pit box was Alan Dice and and Dennis Faircloth, at least considerably, although everybody but Dice missed their box. And now the second part of the lead pack, the 2 V-Speed cars, Justin Carey, are coming in, and these are the top 3. And we'll have to see, and I'm not sure, but I think I just heard Kevin Frey missed it. Yeah, and we'll see as Brody Hayes into his box. Carey into his box, Dice into his box, Keith Maiato, they're all solidly in, and we'll see what happens here as they'll shuffle back out. Max Koss leaving his box, but his day is mainly done. And we'll see as Gimmel out of pit road getting 4 tires, and Carey going to beat him out of pit road.
Carey led them in with Hayes behind him and Gimmel there in 3rd, so they cycled back out how they came down pit road at least.
And we'll see what happens. That second part of the pack, we'll see if that's. Oh no, they're not working together in what I would thought. And Dice getting out of the way, but we'll see 5, 4, 3 seconds now going to be closing up. As now here comes the VCB teammates to the outside. Justin Carey going to be just simply outnumbered. Mackey has help from Faircloth, but they're scratching and clawing to get there. And we'll see what happens, but now these guys are slowly getting up to speed. They're not top speed yet. They will be in about, 25 seconds, but we'll see what happens as now they're going to stall out about 2 seconds. Dice needs to get up to them 1.9 seconds. The top 3 are now separated by 1.9 seconds to 4th, 5th, and 6th. And I think that might be all she wrote for that second pack, because Mackey and Faircloth has a little bit of damage, as well as Dice, and Dice cannot seem to get sucked up to them. And now it just might be a race between these top 3, including Keith Maiato, and unfortunately for Justin Carey, he is outnumbered 3-1.
Yeah, that's not looking good there for Carey, but it could be worse overall. He's still going to come away with a very good points day, all things considered. All over the back bumper of that 6 machine of Gimmel.
We'll see as it is the top 3, although they are starting to, that second pack is starting to reel them in a little bit. Mackey has found some pace here, maybe a little help from Max Koss, who has kind of been in the middle of that pack with a little bit of draft and now losing it with the damage he has, but it has brought Mackey back up into within a second and a half. If he can get to about a second, I think there's hope for them, but there's now only 2 of them where Dice is losing them very quick. Faircloth kind of just losing him as well. We'll see. Costa's car seems to be a little bit better. I think if you're Mackie, you just got to push Cost. Get him up there, and I think this is going to be a very big mistake if he doesn't get behind Cost.
We're going to see
they're confused. They're getting confused. This is not good. This is going to hurt them. We'll see now Cost, if he can just get behind them. I think if they can get Cost in their little duo here, become a trio, there's hope. We'll see, though. They're still making good pace. I think Mayato's losing these two with the damage he has. And maybe Justin Carey, hoping these two get up here. They're not going to be teammates, but they'll at least be a somewhat alliance, knowing they got to break up these two teammates for the lead with 25 to go.
The 99 and the 80, Mackie and Faircloth, like you said, still making ground, now within a half second of Justin Carey.
They are in this pack. They don't really have to worry about not losing unless a big moment, but they got to maybe put 3 cars in between Keith Mayato and Ryan Gemmel, but they got to make quick work of them really quick here, and we'll see. I think 2 versus 1, but not in the draft. How about Mackie, the rookie, trying to get this lead, and now we got the top 5 together, and now it becomes way more of a race because you got 4 different teams represented in the top 5. Keith Mayato being a good teammate here and kind of just staying on the bottom in their way.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. You know, it's not illegal by any means. He's just racing his line.
Carey's realizing he needs these guys to get by Keith Mayato here. And he's going up and giving Mackie draft and Faircloth right now. Gets back behind. That might shuffle Faircloth behind the 36, but now Mackie, he's got to be patient here and just get in line. And he doesn't do that, and now he's going to stall the 21 out. Maybe he can get to the lead, but we'll have to see. I think this is a little bit of inexperience showing you need to get up and race these guys, and get in line, race these guys at the end.
Yeah,
and right now you've allowed Keith Mayato to kind of just stay in your way and be behind Justin Carey. So if Carey makes a move and Mayato kind of doesn't go with them, you put yourself at a big deficit here. It's now Mackie to the outside of Faircloth, and who knows, maybe they can get together, but I feel like this is really hurting Carey and Mackie and Faircloth, keeping Keith Mayato kind of in the fray with the 2 teammates leading this race. Although Mackie up to the outside now of Ryan Gemmel, and these 6 cars might be able to pull on a side-by-side show for this win, as the lap car Michael Jones might play a little bit of a factor in this.
Yeah, what Mackie and Faircloth need to do, get a little bit closer and pick up some side draft, and I'd say that we'd easily see them up there. You know,
oh, that's not good for Mackie.
Yeah,
that's going to hurt him, and Michael Jones doing a good job staying out of the way, but I think maybe they're still in the conservation of fuel, maybe? We'll have to see, but Mackie's got to get in line, and now he's going to have to tuck in, and Justin Carey still in a pretty precarious spot, as another lap car of Nick Starling will probably get past here. And this will be tough to see, as there goes Starling, who's way off the pace with the damage he has. And unfortunately, Cody Atkins, Kevin Frey, they could have been in this pack, but they just unfortunately did themselves no favors, missing their pit boxes and really hurting any chance they had at staying in this pack at a race that was going to go green once the second caution came out. And right now, this field has gotten dwindled down to 5 or 6 cars in the lead pack, 5 of them being the cars racing for the win, and 3 teammates in this 6-car pack. So half of the field basically are teammates, and I don't see them making a move maybe to the last lap, and we'll have to see.
Yeah, this the V-Speed team here, between Hayes, Gemmel, and Keith Mayato. It's going to be tough for anybody else to make that move around any of them. We might see something crazy happen here in the next 20 laps. You never know. It's Daytona after all. We saw some crazy carnage early in the race, so all the cards are on the table at this point.
And we hope we don't see these 6 cars take each other out for the win, but hey, who knows? Here comes Faircloth now, up to the outside, trying to make something happen. Carey finally makes a move to the outside. Gemmel going to kind of get left alone, but Kerry needs to get down inside draft. You see the 21 bobbing and weaving here. Now we got to race Kerry to the outside of both of these teammates. And now we have 3 rows of side by side, and Kerry goes to the lead. With 20 laps to go, does he get down and try to block into 37 and 99? Well, can Faircloth get clear and both of them go down? Faircloth down to the bottom. Mackey gonna get left out though.
Maggie twice being left out to dry.
And now you split up the teammates where they're going to have to make a move. But now Faircloth going to make the move with him. That might hurt them even more because here comes Hayes on the bottom. And that might just give the lead right back to him.
Yo, Alec, I wonder if they're just really trying to keep things interesting here.
Oh, they're definitely doing that. And we'll see what happens. But, I mean, this ain't bad for the show, I guess. But, you know, if I'm a driver, respect for the show doesn't matter. But that's just me. If I was a driver, but hey, they're doing us and all you viewers definitely something that y'all deserve here for this race. And well, we got ourselves a good one here, side by side between the top 2, Kerry and Hayes on the front row of that. Then the pushers being Gimmel in that yellow car on the inside, Dennis Faircloth, the orange and white car on the outside. Then Jake Mackey in that black 99 car, the rookie. He's got a chance to get a very good finish and maybe walk out with his first win of his BTDY career, and then keep my out a teammate to the guys on the bottom. But he is 11 laps down, just trying to be a good teammate here. And both these two maybe trying to battle for the most laps led here. These two have, I believe, at this point, have led the most laps as Kerry leads another one over Hayes. Tell you what, though, this is good to see some side-by-side racing in what is such a small field, but man, they're doing a heck of a job right now. And I tell you this, though, if there was enough laps, because Kevin Frey and Cody Atkins have 3 clean cars, as well as Jeremiah Vincent, they are really reeling in about a half a second to a second a lap, but I just don't think there's enough time for them to run them down. They're flying right now because they got 4 what are almost brand new race cars working together. Michael Jones kind of lost them, but they are really hauling the mail right now. They've cut another second out of their lead. They're going to need a lot more, but they're digging as this battle side by side between the top 5 cars. Looks like Kerry gets another one led, but man, oh man, it's getting interesting here at the end of this thing. Hey, well, Logan, no matter what here, we're getting a winner we haven't seen in a while, and I think that's refreshing, but this is a good battle, and we're talking about 2 guys that haven't won in a hot minute in terms of Hayes and Gemmel. They haven't won since the Next Gen was racing. Kerry, I don't think, has won in a while. Faircloth hasn't won since the Contender Series at Road America, and then Jake Mackey, a rookie, who hasn't won, or has never won, making this really one of his first couple of starts in this series. And again, I want to say Brody Hayes, he hasn't won since New Hampshire in, I believe, was the Next Gen car, I want to say, and Bailey Turner, and then Ryan Gimmel hasn't won since the Next Gen car at Talladega. So these guys all kind of on a long winless drought, and I think one of them for sure is either getting their first win or going to snap that streak, that winless streak, and they're looking really good right now.
Hey, either way, if we see a new winner here tonight, all the merrier.
Of course, as we are getting the holidays and the merrier of Christmas, Logan, I'll tell you that. I know you're a big Christmas guy. And heck, even Thanksgiving coming up here in just about 2 weeks' time, as the lead's still hot and heavy, is the top 2 still battling side by side, the top 5 still battling side by side, and maybe the lap car will probably get out of the way. That looks to be Nick Starling once again, and he's going to fall to his 6th lap down behind the field. And man, oh man, what interesting here. This is going to get very interesting. Starling pulls off for the racetrack, and they still stay side by side for the lead between Kerry and Hayes. Tell you what, is it possible for Mackey to maybe pull off the ultimate upset and get by these 4 cars ahead of him?
You know, it's possible. Anything's possible. So it'd be kind of cool to see that, honestly. I'd love to see Jake Mackey take home a win here today. Honestly, any of these drivers, like you mentioned, a lot of cold streaks here, new winner potential. You know, this race ending might not be what we're used to by any means at all, but it's going to come down to be a very, very good ending here, considering all the circumstances.
And we'll have to see here as this field continues to run side by side. What is now going to be coming up to 13 laps to go, and they still run side by side. And that second pack really hasn't caught much more any at this point. They've kind of actually slowed down just a little bit. They're still catching about a half a second a lap, but a half a second only goes so far. As Jeremiah Vincent leads that, he is 37 laps down, but had some sort of mechanical or technical issues, and he is got basically a clean car, and he's leading the second pack that has Cody Atkins, Kevin Frey, and Ray Massey, who is also a couple laps down, and then Alan Dice just got passed by them, but he has fallen already off of them, and Max Cost has kind of already lost both of them. So right now, it's really between these 6 guys, and I hope they don't take each other out. We'll have to see what happens. But these guys really doing their job right now, and these guys are putting on a heck of a show, battling for this lead. I'll tell you what, Logan, they're giving us something.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you might as well make it interesting all the way till the end. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No, I respect that and what they're doing, and we'll see what happens. How about this? Kerry trying to get down in front of Brody Hayes, could not do it, and makes you wonder after all this race, could we maybe see a photo finish in this race, as we've, started off with 23 race cars and had a big wreck early, took about half of them out, and then we had another big wreck just a couple laps later that took them out, or took more of them out, and really dwindled the cars down to about 7 or so competitive race cars, and 2 of them kind of missed their boxes, or I should say 8 competitive race cars, and 3 of them missed their boxes, and one that was still kind of straggling in the pack with damage kind of didn't end up that way. And he actually was with the 21 and the 80, but they shuffled him out really quick, and he's lost it. He has fallen 20 seconds behind this lead pack. And those the other guys that are still following, which are Kevin Frey and the 82 Cody Atkins, you see them on your ticker, and they've closed up kind of, sorta, but nothing much to run this lead pack down, even though they're running side by side with 6 cars. But doing a great job here so far are these 6 cars. Still going to be going side by side, carry clear of Brody Hayes, and even Dennis Faircloth kind of trying to clear, but they're just kind of towing along Jake Mackey here, who's he's hung strong with these guys. So we'll see what happens when we get down to the end of this race, coming to what will be 10 laps to go.
That high line just came out of nowhere with a lot of momentum there. As you mentioned, Faircloth was almost clear of the 37 machine. Harry electing not to fall down in front of Brody Hayes, sticking with this side-by-side action here.
Yes, we are, and Carey still on the outside trying to maybe clear. When will he make that move to clear, as he's got teammate Dennis Faircloth behind him, but the teammates lined up on the inside. Hayes, Gemmel, and Mayato, again, a factor to throw in as well. Mayato is 11 laps down. He is not a factor to win this race, but he's helping his teammates on the bottom, which, by all means, fair play and nothing against it in the rule book. So doing a good job here.
That top line's almost completely clear.
This right here could be a big moment. If they can clear Mackey off of 4, or get Mackey clear off of 4 of Hayes, I think there's a chance if they jump down to the bottom. We'll see they're carrying momentum. Top 2 are clear. Mackey's almost clear, but now Hayes is going to get a bump into the trial, but that's going to get him at least side by side with Mackey.
And Mackey not
we'll
able
see with
to...
this lap car. They're going to go to the bottom here. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Jones and Hatchell going to shuffle out here, and I think Mackey's really going to fall back, and that's unfortunately going to hurt. It's going to unfortunately hurt the 99 car, and he'll have to tuck back in line. And here comes Hayes now, up to the outside, help from Gemmel. Does Carey go up to block this? He does. Oh, Starling gets right in the way, and that almost caused an incident. Carey now not going to be able to block the 37. Hayes now, the roles reversed to the lap. Hayes and Gemmel to the outside lane.
Interesting to see Mayato not follow his team up to that high line.
I think now he's got him this far. I think he's going to let these guys try to settle it out themselves. And right now it's 2-car tandem, and it kind of reminds you of 2011 style of racing where you get the guys breaking away in 2-car tandems. And right now it's kind of what we're seeing, but now Carey's going to have to find a way to get by. How about Mackey now going up to the outside of with Gemmel and Hayes? But I think Mackey's just been on the receiving end of getting just left out here, and I think that might happen here. We'll see what Mackey does as he stays behind Gemmel. Now Carey on the bottom with Faircloth as well, and we're getting to the end of this race here. What will be 7 laps to go. Coming across start-finish line. This is going to get really good here at the end. Who can pull this off? Can Mackey get his first win? Can Hayes or Gemmel win one of their first races in a long while, as well as Faircloth and Carey? No matter who wins this race, a winless streak is broken or a first-time winner is to be had, and that is a possibility happening in this race. Maiato now jumps back up to help his teammates. Faircloth thought about going high, but he stays low with teammate Carey. Now he does go high, but now goes back to the bottom in front of Mackey.
It's hard saying here what Maiato can really do. He's a little off the pace. He's really got a lot of room to snug back up to the back end of one of these cars, either Gemmel or Mackey.
We might lose him here with that damage that he has from earlier in this race. He's got to be full throttle, but we'll see as now he's no longer tucked up behind his teammates, and he's no longer side by side. He's all by himself, no help. And we'll see, although he's going to get a big run here with the 99 kind of fading back. Luckily, these guys are running side by side, but it'll be big here if Maiato can't really stay in this draft. And honestly, it doesn't matter if he just stays behind them. It's still 2 versus 3 now. What we thought was going to be a 3 versus 3. But now Maiato jumps up high again.
And now Maiato's able to catch back up to the back bumper of the 6 machine. Try to propel that Highline V-Speed team to victory here.
We'll see as the V-Speed cars go up to the outside lane. They'll close up on the inside lane. And the Simulator's Anonymous drivers will try to gather their way up through. And Jake Mackey, kind of an independent driver, not really racing on a team. And we'll see as he just bobs and weaves down on the inside. Hayes fighting back on the outside. 5 laps to go from the World Center of Racing. Justin Carey on the inside, 21. 37 is Brody Hayes, 6 is Ron Gemmel, the 80 is Dennis Faircloth, and the 99 Jake Mackey, and on the outside as well, and that blue 36 is Keith Maiato. Remember, not a factor in this race.
One thing,
see what happens here.
Talking to these drivers before the race during practice, they were mentioning that, with this potential updated version of this car, the pushes did not feel the same as they did a few weeks ago. So we might see some of these drivers get loose if the 80 or the 6 get right up underneath the bumper of the car in front of them.
Right here, you got to be careful off the exits of these corners because it's the lightest the car gets. And if you hit them in that left rear, it's almost a guarantee you're going to send somebody around here. It's now 4 laps to go from the Daytona International Speedway, the World Center of Racing. Can the 37 get back to the 21? Does the 80 or the 99 try to make a move? What about the 6? Does he try to make a move to win this race? Mackey now comes up to the back bumper of Faircloth, who gives a shove to Carey. And now Gemmel giving a shove to the 37 of Hayes. Now has to let off. Probably trying to cool that car down. This could be big for Mackey if he can get clear of the 37 here. And he might, and he does. He finally will. Where will Jake Mackey go if he has a chance to block maybe one of the VSP cars who are going to have a massive run coming here? Gemmel and Hayes building one. 3 laps to go from Daytona. Logan, I think Mackey's going to have a chance. He's going to have to go with it. Will the VSP cars go with him?
Well, they just swapped spots. Mackey went to the outside to get in front of him, and then both the V-Speed cars fall to the bottom.
Now, holding still enough line there to maybe try to get them. Here comes Hayes to the bottom. He'll look high again. He's got Gemmel with him. Now he stays back in line. A little stack up on the bottom. And Mackey gets shuffled out. A big shove to Justin Carey on the bottom. And now the top 6 are single file in this pack. Coming to what will be 2 laps to go from Daytona. Hayes looks high. He'll tuck back in line once more. 2 laps to go at the start-finish line. Carey, Faircloth working together. Hayes and Gemmel and Maiato working together. Mackey up to the outside by himself. Does he try to maybe go off and lay off a little bit and build as big of a run as he can? But he's built one already to the outside of Gimmel. And now Hayes, this could box in the 37 behind the 80 or the 6 behind the 37.
It's a tough spot for Brody Hayes and Ryan Gimmel both.
Hayes, he's got to run. Oh, there's contact between Carey and Faircloth. Now Mackey gets side by side of even with the 37 of Hayes through 3 and 4. Less than a lap and a half to go in what has been a wild 250-mile race. 99 laps are on the board, but this is the lap that matters. 1 lap to go from Daytona. A big run coming for Brody Hayes and Ryan Gimmel, the 2 teammates. Have a run. Hayes continues to back off. Where will Dennis Faircloth go? Does he try to build a run on teammate Justin Carey in the 21? Through turns 1 and 2. Here comes the run down the backstretch for the final time tonight. Mackey goes high on the outside of Mayato. Here comes Hayes with the run. Faircloth throws the block. Carey down throws the block. Contact made. Now side by side for second. Carey pulls away by 1. 2 car lengths. Hayes gets turned. He's into the inside of Faircloth, but he still has a run. Mackey shoots the middle. Hayes with one last ditch effort. Into the trial they go. Justin Carey is a winner at the World Center of Racing.
What a
finish. Win. What a finish. Justin Carey gets it done at Daytona, and he wins his first race in a long time. And how about that for the 21 car?
Cannot complain with that at all.
What a finish. I don't think Brody Hayes is too happy with what happened, but I don't think Justin Carey could have did anything different there for the win. And how about that? Justin Carey, his first win in a while. And how about Jake Mackey getting third out of that, the rookie with the podium finish?
Yeah, fantastic night for the 99 machine. That was something else.
Incredible. What a great race. What a great finish there at the end. And man, oh man, the VSP guys tried everything they could to throw out the 21 and the 80. And what a great block by Justin Carey at the end to at least solidify himself a chance. And it looked like Gimmel maybe gave too hard of a push to Hayes there, sent him into the 80. And that was all she wrote. And the 21 is going to burn it down. And just like in the actual Xfinity Series, the 21 of Austin Hill's not too bad here. And it looks like Justin Carey, not too bad himself here at the World Center of Racing. And Carey will open up the first win, or his first win of his, it has been a long time coming for Justin Carey, and he'll open up with the points lead, and he'll burn it down in front of the Daytona fans. And man, oh man, what a finish, what a race, and what a drive for Justin Carey, and a big win for him in that 21 team.
Yeah, absolutely. You cannot be upset about that at all. Obviously, a very odd race here tonight, only finishing with the 5 cars on the lead lap. But Justin Carey coming away with that win. You know he's got to be happy, kicking off this season 4 with a bang.
Yes, sir. Picking off with a big bang here at the Daytona National Speedway. Justin Carey parks it on the Daytona start-finish line. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break to talk to the top 3 of Justin Carey, Brody Hayes, and Jake Mackey. Stick around for post-race interviews. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the nurturing reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
And welcome back to the World Center of Racing at the conclusion of the BTDY 250. Let's take a look at our race results. Before we get into post-race interviews here in just a second, Justin Carey is the winner after leading 20 laps here. And how about that? 2 cautions for 26 lead changes amongst half of the field, probably led a lap. Brody Hayes is second. Jake Mackey, the rookie, is third. Ryan Gemmel is fourth. Dennis Faircloth is fifth. Kevin Frey is sixth. Cody Atkins is seventh. Alan Dice was eighth. Seth Hatchell is ninth. And Nick Starling comes home in 10th.
Behind our top 10, Max Cost, after we saw him lose that hood twice, will finish out in 11th. Keith Mayato up there working with the V-Speed team at the front of the pack. Couple laps down for him, but finishes out there in 12th on 36. Michael Jones in 13th. Ray Massey in 14th. Chris Samard in the 77 will take home 15th. Jeremiah Vincent in 16th. Jeff Wright, big upset for the 48 machine tonight, finishing out in 17th, as well as AJ Stravato in 18th. Mahalski in 19th, and Dallas Sullivan will take home the 20th position.
And 21st was Aaron Lee. 22nd was Zach Smith, and Todd Giles Jr. was 23rd to round out the field tonight. And it shows Jeremiah Vincent never gave up, even though there's some issues early, but he still gets a top 16 out of it because you just never know what can happen at Daytona. And how about we pull up our third place finisher, the rookie Jake Mackey, and we'll see if he's in. Jake Mackey, Alec Martinez, and Logan in the booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
We're doing good, man. I'm probably not doing as good as you are. As you got your third place finish here tonight. How was that race for you? You led 17 laps, but good start to the season, I would have to assume.
I first race back in this league for a little bit for me. Happy to be back here. And yeah, P3 is not a bad way to start the season, that's for sure.
It seemed like a little wild there at the end. What more did you maybe need to get to those leaders when they were racing and all that to maybe have a chance of getting to Justin Carey?
So it was really just between all of us there at the end. It was really who could get the nice run, who could get a nice push, and Dennis and Justin were just working really hard together, and I tried to work with them, but things just got kind of slided back and forth, and I just kind of went with my own at the end there, and it is what it is. A P3 isn't bad though. Can't be upset with it at all.
Absolutely on that. And well, next week I want to ask you about next week when we go to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, Old Atlanta, not another super speedway. How do you feel about going out there and maybe trying to back up with another good finish?
I will have to put some laps in because it has been a long time since I've ran at that configuration. So we'll see, but it's the same. I mean, it's super speedway kind of in a way. I mean, not current layout, but hey, old layout will be fun.
Yes, sir. Well, it will be. Well, Jake, we appreciate your time, buddy. Does anybody want to give a shout out to here tonight for your run?
Well, quick shout out to Big Fast Racing. It's my sim endurance racing team. We're racing at Fuji this weekend. And Mythic Metal is my sponsor.
For sure. We appreciate your time, Jake, and wish you the best here this week, and we'll see you next week for Atlanta.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too. And that's Jake Mackey, our third place finisher here tonight, and we'll move on to our second place finisher, Brody Hayes. He looks like Logan is standing with him.
Yeah, I've got Brody Hayes down here in the pit lane. Brody, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, what a interesting race that was, losing half the field in that first big caution and then took out another half of the remaining field in the second one. You managed to sneak through it, though, both times. Give me a quick rundown of those. Man, that was only separated by about 10 laps there. Give me a quick rundown of those two cautions for you.
Yeah, the first one we were just we were talking about pitting, so we had just got to the bottom line there, and we were just riding when everything went crazy in front of us. I was trying to follow Ryan through the wreck, and I watched him get clobbered, and then me and Justin, we were just kind of held the wheel straight, and we're just hoping that we would guess right on which way the cars were going. The second wreck, I'm not real sure what happened. I just know the two ended up into the outside wall, and everybody behind them piled in. So it definitely flipped the race for a lot of people. But I mean, it came out good. I wish we could have won, but it is what it is.
Very close to that win with teammate Ryan Gimmel right there behind you pushing, and then of course Keith Mayato a few laps down, but he was able to stick around and help out. Obviously a lot of communication in those last couple laps, I'm sure, but overall not a terrible race for the V-Speed team up here. Finished out there in second, Gimmel in fourth, and then of course Mayato laps down, finished out there in 12th. Hatchell was able to sneak out in ninth, but overall, it's Daytona, but next week we have the Old Atlanta, the pre-repaved surface of Atlanta. What are you and your teammates going to do to prepare for that race next week?
I am gonna buy as many Goodyear tires as I can, so I can put them on my car every chance I get, and have more tires than everybody else. No, it's Old Atlanta's fun, right? I'm hoping it widens out so you can run the bottom or run the middle or the top. Usually makes for some good racing, but definitely way different than the new Atlanta we have or what we even raced tonight. So it puts it back into the driver's hands, and it's going to be all about saving that right front, saving that right rear, and just prolonging the life of the tire. So should be a good week though.
Absolutely. Well, Brody, second place tonight. You led 21 laps, started out there in 10th, gained 8 positions, so you're good to go there. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to for tonight's success?
Yeah, give a shout out to V Speed, all the admins, everybody that puts on BTDY, you guys up in the booth. I'm sure it'll be interesting to go back and watch this one. I know there wasn't a whole lot of action to call, but yeah, just thank everybody that's involved, and hopefully we get a bigger field next week, and we'll put on a show.
Sounds like a plan, man. Well, good luck next week. Enjoy your little time off here before you really start have to grind in the gears at Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. That was Brody Hayes, the second place finisher. And let's move up to our winner here tonight for tonight's race, Justin Carey. Justin, Alec, and Logan in the booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Absolutely.
Oh man, congratulations! First off, you are a winner in BTDY here at the Daytona National Speedway, buddy. How does it feel to get the monkey off your back and finally get that win?
I'm shaking right now. I don't know what to do. It's been so long of trying and finally getting it. Dennis pushing the heck out of me all the way to the line. I couldn't thank him anymore. I don't know what to do.
Well, I can tell you this: you got to find something to celebrate, maybe a cold drink or something. But it was great to see you win, and now the season really kicks off. I know it's big to win here. This is great momentum. You made the chase last year and gave yourself a shot. Now you leave Daytona with the points lead. How do you expect, or how do you feel about the rest of the season, especially next week going into Atlanta and trying to continue this momentum?
I just got to stay consistent. I know I'm not gonna stay so high up on the leaderboard with so many guys that are so good in this league, and with a lot of the big ones being taken out in that big wreck. I've just got to stay consistent and look for just solid finishes. Don't make mistakes, and just try and be there, because who knows what may happen. We might have another one of these wrecks happen again, and I could pull off a top 5 or even pull off another win.
For sure, and always being in the hunt is the best way to do it. And before we let you go celebrate, buddy, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to here for this night's win?
I mean, Alec, I'm gonna thank you and Logan for calling this one, and just Operation N22 and everybody there. Simulators Anonymous, V Speed, just everybody. Airwolf Athletics, Kyle, who couldn't be here tonight, Jordan, who does great with the spotting, and he's got some other circumstances going on. We wish the full team could be here, and so just to work with Simulators Anonymous and bring home Operation N22 and the team of victory is awesome, and I'm just excited for the season.
For sure. Well, we appreciate your time, Justin. Congratulations. Go celebrate, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again next week out at Atlanta.
Absolutely. Y'all have a great night and enjoy it.
For sure. Have a good night, man. And that's Justin Carey, your winner here tonight from the Daytona International Speedway. Logan, it's good to be back here for BTDY Night in America. What a wild race we saw. Any closing thoughts before we're off to Atlanta?
You know, you pretty well summed it up. What a absolute wild race. Again, I cannot stress this enough. It's not something you normally see in a situation like that, but overall, these drivers stuck it out. Big props to all those guys that got the damage fixed, came back out just to collect some better points for themselves going into next week. You know, the series is only 12 races long before the chase starts, so every single point matters. But big congratulations to the 21 of Justin Carey. It's BTDY Night in America. I'm looking forward to next week at Atlanta.
Yes, sir. It's going to be fun to watch, and appreciate all you ladies and gentlemen watching. And apologies for a little bit of technical difficulties, but we'll be better next week. And again, appreciate everybody who watched and tuned in this week from Daytona. It's been a presentation of V-Speed. We thank everybody from Adam Baker and from Bradley Cooper, and of course Logan as well. It's been the great start to the season for the BTDY Racing Series. I'm Alec Martinez. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We'll see you next week from the Atlanta Motor Speedway for the BTDY Racing Series, presented by Martin Sports.